started. So we will look into prompt engineering today. So we have seen 2 classes in Python. So there are many more classes planned in Python. Just to give some context of what is prompt and why the engineering of prompt is needed, all those things. So we will take a look at it today. And prompt engineering is also planned for like multiple classes, not single class. So today consider it as a part one of the prompt engineering. So let me share my screen. Yeah, just give me a second. I'm just pulling my notes to share. Yeah, just a minute. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, let me share. Okay, so we will look into prompt engineering. First of all, what is a prompt? So prompt is nothing but the text that we give to the LLM. So if you ask a question, whatever it is, explain about Python or what is the weather today or who is the, Prime Minister of India. So everything that we interact with LLM, it's called as a prompt. So uh, why it matters? So why there is the engineering term? So usually engineering means software engineering. So we will engineer the software, civil engineering, mechanical engineering. So it's a big term, right? That means we are making something efficient, but prompt is like just interacting. So what is there to engineer there? So that's the first question we get. So that is where we are going to see it's not a simple utterance like we are interacting with ChatGPT or other AI tools. So it is a very detailed instructions that will help the LLM to perform even better. It's the same LLM, but based on the prompt we are sending, it is going to give a completely different output, whatever is needed, for our ask. So we will go through what is a prompt engineering and why it matters and how to write the clear and structured prompts and how do we improve the prompts step by step. And there are some types of prompts which we will see today. Okay, just a minute. There is a power cut, so I'll have to share again. Can you see my screen? Can anyone
Not
confirm?
yet. Yes.
Oh,
Not
okay.
yet.
Okay, okay. Just a minute. Hope you can see now. Yeah.
Loading. Yeah, we can see.
Okay. And how do we control and format the outputs? So that also we will pass in the prompt only. And then what are the different common patterns that we use in the prompts that we usually while building the AI applications. So we just discussed what is prompt engineering. So first of all, what is prompt? Anything that we pass on to the L, like a question, an instruction, or anything, any text that we pass on to LLM is prompt. So making the prompt efficient and then tailored to what we need is called as prompt engineering. So let's say we will see these examples. So let's say if we explain Python. So this is the text that we are giving, right? That is a prompt basically. So explain Python. Now what is the problem here? Of course, it will explain the Python. So let me open ChatGPT as well. So let me give explain Python. So it will still give the output. Uh, so in a generic way, right? So it gave, okay, these are the things, and these are the main things, whatever it can gather. So nothing wrong in it. It's fine. Details. Explain Python to a college student who knows Excel, use simple language, and provide two examples. So now if you see here, I am specifying what it is. Now the underlying task is explaining Python in both the prompts. There is no difference, but the difference is I am saying it is to a college student. Now immediately it gets the context. Okay, the level of explanation it needs to give, the level of depth it needs to give. Then immediately it will tailor. The LLM will tailor that. And then we are giving additional information. Who knows Excel? That means they are somewhat technical, but not completely. So this gives kind of a idea. So based on this, LLM will determine, okay, then I should answer in this way, and then use specifically mentioning so that it will avoid any technical advanced terms. And then we are also specifying provide two examples. So we are specifically giving how many examples to give. Again, this one is also not the ultimate prompt, but much better than this. So why it is not the ultimate prompt? We can say, what is the branch of the college student, right? So CSC will have one level of expertise on understanding programming language, others will not have. And we mentioned uses Excel, but we have not mentioned to what level, like basic use, or they know formulas and all, or they know the VB script also. Like there are so many details to add, right? That's why a good prompt will have all those details. It will like even a simple prompt also will be like 10 to 15 lines always minimum. And based on the complex task, like explaining Python is a complex task. That means we have to write some 20 to 30 lines of prompt, adding all these details. That is when we can call it as a like ultimate prompt. But in order to reach there, we will not write it in one shot. We will do it in iterations. That means first we will start at somewhere, like we will start at here, and then we will see how the output is happening. Then, okay, it is including very basic examples which are not useful. Then we are going to tell, add the detail. Okay, include moderate level of Python programs as examples that we will give. And then it included the programs, but it's not explaining the step by step. Then we will add, okay, after giving the examples, explain each step, what it means. Then we will add the details. So like that, we are going to iterate over the prompt. So that's when we finalize the prompt. Okay, this is my final prompt, which I want to use for the like ultimate final thing. So this process is called prompt engineering. Now let me give the same thing here. Started giving, okay, if you know Excel, think of Python as so and so. And then it's already giving the comparison. So somebody, okay, this is this one. Oh, Python. Okay. So it is going to help somebody who knows Excel. Then we mentioned about two examples. So it gave two examples. So same LLM behind the scenes is GPT, right? So ChatGPT we are using. We are giving the same, like interacting with the same LLM, but the output you see is entirely different. These both are not even, close enough in terms of how the formatting is there, how the direction of this prompt, the output is there. So it's completely different with very, very simple change in the prompt. So that's why prompt is going to be a very key factor. And we do this process called prompt engineering so that we always optimize our prompt for the need, whatever the need we are trying to achieve. Now let's go to notes again. So this is the context that we are giving. So in the prompt itself, we are introducing some context. What is context? The background of what we need. So audience, it immediately understand, okay, I need to consider the college student, not like a professor or not like software engineer. At the same time, not some elementary kid. So, okay, this is my level and prior knowledge, it knows the Excel style. We need to use very simple language, and then output we have to give two examples. So based on the simple change, it is going to completely reformat the output. Now, what are all the things that we need to include in a prompt to call it as a good prompt that will work? First thing is role. What is the role? Like what is the role that the AI is taking, LLM is taking? That we will see with an example. And what is the task it is asking, like we are asking it to perform, and giving them the context, like background of audience or background of how the output should look like, all those things. And constraints, so limiting, putting some conditions so that it will not go work on its own terms. We will give some constraints. Again, here also we'll see some examples. And finally, output format. What kind of output? Like text, PDF, or bulleted list. So many things we can give it. So ultimately, giving all these things, then we can say a format is good. So now let's compare this one. So here we are giving the role. So actually, we are not giving the role. We are only giving the audience that comes under the context, and we are giving the task. The task is explain Python. So what is the role then? Role means you act as a engineering lecturer, or consider yourself as an engineering professor. Then if we give that, then that is called as role, that we will see in the next example. And constraints, we have given some constraints, vague constraints, like provide two examples. This is the constraint we have given, so that it won't give less, it won't give more. But we can do, like this, we can provide more constraints as. Okay, I think some power cuts, frequent power cuts today. Sorry about that. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so basically, this is the example prompt we are saying, act as a software instructor. Keep the explanation under as a specific thing we are giving. Again, this is just an example. Like this, we have to come up with our own thing based on the, what is the kind of thing we are working on. Sometimes we may have to give, a paragraph or create some big document. Then we will give some other kind of constraint. elaborate and make sure that it has minimum five paragraphs like that. So just based on the need only. So consider this only as an example. And output, bullet points with one real world example. So now let's see this one. And before seeing, obviously, let's try without any of those. Explain APIs. Giving some example and what are the types of APIs, why they are those things, all those things. Now let's give the this prompt. Because of this constraint, it has limited itself to very concise application, sorry, concise output. And then we gave the bullet points. So it followed that, which is very easy to read. So like this, we can develop any kind of prompts, and not everybody can write good prompts, right? So there are multiple rules and things that we can follow. So we can write good prompts and share that prompt with others so that they can get benefited from it. So just like how we write a program, now prompts are also becoming like that. It's a kind of an asset. It's kind of a product that we can sell. Uh, you know, especially when we write a very in this way. In each section, provide these many examples, and for each example, include the output also and include the exercises which they can do. So, like this, if you spend time and keep on refining, ultimately you reach a good prompt which anyone can take and give it to ChatGPT. So that is the power of a good prompt, and you might have already known, right? So people are selling the prompts also. So why they are selling? Because they have optimized it, and for a specific thing which everyone cannot do. So it's kind of that kind of thing. So now here we can see the output, kind of output that is given here, and here it's completely different. Now let's move next steps. So how do we iterate and refine? So now we have given one output. So we have given one prompt and it gave like this. Now I want to do something else. Like I want to include one more example. Then I can say include two examples. Then I realized, okay, 200 words is very short to explain APIs. So I'm going to put, okay, 300 words. That means I'm keep on changing the prompt. And then I will say forget, post, put, and delete. So for these things, provide one example each in 2 lines of code that I can add. So like this, I can keep on iterate and check the data, what we are getting. So here we have, right? So just copy and then audience knows Python. So let's say output bullet points with one real world example. Explain the example using comments for each line. Just iterating. So now it will give some other a better output probably. So now you can see somebody who is for the first time, if they are checking, if they check this one, they may get confused. So what I got idea is, okay, instead of giving directly, let's explain each line. Now I gave that prompt, then it is doing this. That means this one is a better prompt than this. Now I will copy this and do some other, whatever is needed. I will, create like I performing well, you can just go back to the previous prompt and continue something else, some other change. So like that, we can modify the prompt. So we'll give the prompt, look at the AI response and evaluate. So evaluate is the thing that we will do. Like it's a more of a judgment. There is no right or wrong. It's more of a judgment. So what are we trying to achieve? Whether the output is the AI response is correct, perfectly suiting or not. That's the kind of judgment. There is no right or wrong. And then we will review the prompt. Okay, evaluate and make some changes, and then generate again. Then through the things. So next one is something we'll look at common problems that may happen during prompts. So one thing is ambiguous prompt. That means there is some conflict or confusion. Coffee means named Java. Java bikes also, if you are aware. So that means coffee or we don't know, right? So that means that is called the ambiguous prompt. So now it has insufficient information. It will give the output for sure. It may give the one which we are expecting, but it is purely by luck, not by this one. And now the advanced tools like ChatGPT and Gemini, they know about our by the means of our interaction, they know about our persona. So most likely it will pick the correct thing. But in general, for a new user, it is going to be random. So that's why this is called as ambiguous prompt. That means there is a confusion. We are not specifying. Just if we add write about Java programming language, that means we are specifying. So then there is no ambiguity. So that is the first problem. So while writing prompts, we have to take care of it. So here we are clearly giving Java programming language, and we are also giving the context to beginners with examples. Now, missing the context. So create a study plan. So somebody, a student who is interacting with ChatGPT, like they know they have a maths exam and then they want a study plan for that, that's fine. But ChatGPT or Gemini or the AI does not know that. So we have to include that. Create a study plan is not going to help. It will still give some generic answers, like some plan it will give, but it won't be, suitable or useful that much. Because whether it is for school exams or from some courses that we are learning or some training that we are going through, and who is it for, what is the level, nothing is present. Create a study plan, it's like very vague prompt. Then what is the better prompt? Create a 30-day machine learning study plan. So here we are giving the exact task along with uh, details. For a beginner who knows Python, so here we are giving the context. And then and can study 2 hours daily. So here we are giving, this is a kind of a constraint, but we are adding it as a context. So who can study 2 hours daily? That means now it knows, okay, each day how much we need to give, and they are a beginner. So they like it will understand, okay, I should not give 5 concepts in one day. I will give only 2 concepts, something like that. It will create based on the this specificity of the prompt. So here we have subject. The subject is a beginner who knows Python, and experience level we are giving beginner, and then available time. So we are giving this, and then duration. So basically this is how we can create a better prompt. Now again the same thing, very broad instructions like generic prompt, just like study plan, we are giving some generic prompt. Teach me artificial intelligence. Yes, it will definitely teach something, like it may give some output which is going to help us to some extent. But what exactly we want? Introduce artificial intelligence to beginners, cover the definition, what are the types of AI and real world applications, and then what is the future scope. When you give this kind of prompt, it will exactly provide the required details, satisfying the our exact use case. Whereas if you just give this one, like it may give some random stuff still related to AI only. Like as I said, there is nothing wrong in it. But what is the use case that we are trying to solve? Who is the persona we are targeting? Based on that, we have to give these kind of things. Now, there could be some scenarios where we may give conflicting instructions like explain deep learning in great detail using simple language in only one sentence. Obviously, by looking at it, we ourselves can understand, right? First of all, deep learning is a very detailed concept. Then we are giving great detail, that is fine. You are using simple language, that is also fine. But finally telling only one sentence, that is impossible. So great detail and one sentence, it is conflicting. So just make sure that we are not giving this kind of conflicting things when giving a prompt. So what is the better prompt? Explain deep learning using simple language in less than 200 words, at least somewhat better. I would say 200 is also not good, but it depends on the context that we are trying to solve. So just to get some very high level overview, 200 is fine. But to get somewhat deeper insights, maybe we should give 500 words. So like that, we have to channelize, customize our prompt. Similarly, create a roadmap. Output is too generic. Create a data science roadmap. It is better, but still it's broad only. Like this, we have to continue. Create a data science roadmap for a beginner and even better than the previous version. Now, create a 6-month data science roadmap for a beginner who knows Python and can study 1 hour per day. Much, much better than the first version. So like this, we need to keep on adding the specifics into the prompt. Now, let's look at some examples of or the formats of the prompts. So there is something called as zero shot and there is something called as few shot prompts. So these are the actual examples that we use in the real world and the actual methodologies in the prompt engineering. So what is zero shot prompting? So whatever the prompts we all saw till now, those are all zero shot promptings only. Okay, what it means? So zero shot means asking the model to perform a task without providing any examples. That means whatever we have done so far, we will give it a task, we will give persona, we will give context, constraints, everything, but we are not giving an example. That means LLM itself will figure out what is the way forward. So the model relies entirely on the pre-trained knowledge, which is sufficient in most of the cases. But in some cases, we want to give examples also so that we will see. So now the structure is task plus instructions we will give and then we will get the output. So now there is something called as sentiment if you are not aware. So this is one of the key concepts in determining how the LLM output is. But here we are going for the movie. Like let's say if a movie is released and how is the sentiment in the audience, whether it's a positive side or negative side. So sentiment can be positive or negative and or neutral. So these are the three possible values. Now what we are saying is classify the sentiment of this particular statement. I love this movie. So do you think it is a positive or negative? It is a positive. I love this movie. So now the LLM is going to give the answer also positive. So let me just do this. So I'm saying classify the sentiment of this particular statement. I love this movie. So it is giving the statement of this particular thing is positive. Sentiment is positive. Reason because the love expresses strong enjoyment and approval. Okay, well and good. It has given. No need of example. So this is called as zero shot prompting. Why I don't need to give example? Because it already knows how to classify the sentiment from a given sentence. So I don't have to give example like, okay, if you get love, then classify it as this one, or if you get hate, then classify. I don't have to explain all those things using examples. I can simply give this statement as a prompt, then it will give the output and it will use its knowledge to determine the sentiment. This is called as zero shot. That means there is no example providing in the prompt. Another example. So translate into French. What should I translate? Good morning. What is the output? Bonjour. So again, let me just do this. This is also zero shot prompt. So good morning in French is bonjour. I don't have to give examples, how to perform this because it already knows what to do. Let's move on. So let's say summarize the following article in exactly 5 bullet points. So now we are moving into the somewhat real prompts. So what we are saying, summarize the following article in exactly 5 bullet points. Are we giving any example? No, we are not giving. So example means we have to give the input article and we have to give the output also what LLM should provide. That is called as example. Once we go to the next type of prompt, you will understand. For now, just understand we are not giving any example of input and output. What we are giving is we are just giving the instruction and we are passing on the article. So let's do this. Let me go to new chat so that it will not pick the context from the current chat by mistake. It did exactly the same. So I have given some article about AI and it has given me into 5 bullet points. So even this itself we can use in our daily life. So let's say you are reading some article or you are reading some Wikipedia or whatever, right? So instead of reading it like this, just convert into bullet points. So much better to understand and very quick to read also. And of course, let's say if you are interested in how education field is being transformed, how are they creating personalized learning platforms, then we can expand on that. Explain more about the education related bullet point. When you give this, so it will start again. So like this, we can use AI. Here also, it's a zero-shot prompting. What is the task that we are giving? We are giving the task to summarize. And LLM already knows what summarize means and how to summarize. It is already aware. So we don't need to give an example, additional example. Now, the next example, information extraction. Again, this is not a type. This is just an example name I have given. Like there is nothing called as information extract and type of front. All these are zero-shot prompts because we are not giving any example. Okay. Now the prompt is extract all names, organizations, and dates from the paragraph below. So what is there in the paragraph? Something about Microsoft announced some partnership, OpenAI, whatever, and then during the conference, CEO has did this collaboration with this one, and then representatives from Google and Amazon also did, and expected output is this one. So name, how many organizations are there, and what are the dates included in this event. So let's give this and see. So it gave the output in the prescribed format. So it has extracted the people, it has extracted the organizations, and it did some, it adds its own flavor also and added links, even though I have not asked. So yeah, but anyway, it extracted the dates and it extracted the places also. So here also we have not provided any examples. What we have given, this is not an example. This is the actual input that we are giving. So don't confuse it as an example. We will see the example how we will give. So then you will get the clarity. So when do we go for this zero shot prompts? When the whatever the task we are giving, it is a common thing or it is a very simple thing and well understood by LLMs, then we don't have to provide any example along with the prompt like translation, summarization, explanation, brainstorming, questions and answering, information extraction, creating some quizzes or all those things like. So for these things, LLM is already aware of how to achieve it. So unless we want to do some very specific format or things like that, no need to provide any examples. So that is called as zero shot prompting. And this is the most basic prompting technique. Now let's move to few shot prompting. Few shot means providing some examples along with the prompt itself. So before asking the actual question. Now, why will it help? AI continues the pattern, whatever we have given. So now let's see. I'm giving the same sentiment analysis thing I'm giving with an example. Even though it's not needed, I have picked up the same example so that it's easy to compare, right? So in zero shot, how we have given, in the few shot, how we are giving. So this is the few shot prompt. Text, this one. then it has to give the output as positive. Amazing service sentiment. Sorry, amazing service and sentiment should be positive. Text, horrible experience, then sentiment should be negative. Again, text, the food was excellent, sentiment is what? So this is called as few shot prompt. That means I am giving the pattern. So for this text, do this. For this text, do this. Now for this text, now you give me the output. So that's what I'm telling to LLM. So let's try this one. So what am I giving? Giving the text and sentiment is positive. Giving text, sentiment positive. Giving text. Now I am asking what is the sentiment? This is something which LLM has to determine. So it rightly identified. So from these examples, it identified, okay, I need to do in the similar way for this statement also. Then it understood and giving the positive output. Now, email classification. Let's say I got one email. I want to classify, what type of team needs to look into it. So for this, I will give example. So email, I cannot log into my account means category should be technical support. That means these are the few examples I already know. So that's why I'm passing them to LLM. Again, email, I want to cancel my subscription. That means it's related to some billing. So category should be billing. Now, next question. How can I change my password? What should be the category? This one or this one? So that is what LLM will determine. So I'm giving two examples here. So usually it's better to give 5 examples, 4 to 5 examples in a best, like in a good few shot prompt. Even giving very more number of examples also is not recommended. Give the examples from different types. So here we have picked 2 categories, right? So like that, if there are 5 categories, pick 5 categories and give those things. So I cannot log into my account is one example. Unable to access my laptop, another example. Not needed because anyway that will be understood from the first example itself. So instead of that, like that, give some distinct examples so that LLM will get the clear context. So that's how we need to build the few short prompts. So now what is happening here? It needs to identify the category. Category is technical support. It will identify category from these two only. It won't make up anything new because in our examples we are giving only two. Now the only decision it will make is okay. Changing the password should go to the billing or technical support. Obviously technical support. How? I cannot log into my account and changing the password are somewhat related. Whereas canceling my subscription is different. So these two are related. So that means category should be this one. That's how it will understand and take care of the output. Now, bug severity classification, basically defect. So login button color is incorrect. This is the issue. And I am giving the output also. What is the expected thing? Severity is low because it is just a matter of color. Now, application crashes during payment. I'm telling this is a very critical bug. So now I have given two extreme ends as an example. Based on this, it has to identify the severity for this issue. User profile picture is not loading. Let's see how it will do. And again, what is the type of this prompt? It is a few shot prompt. That means we are giving few examples. Based on that, the LLM will have to like identify the this one. So the same thing, if we want to give in 0 shot, how should we do? We have to give given below is the issue, identify its severity, and then we have to pass this one. That means without giving any examples. That is a few shot prompt. Okay, so now let's take, sorry, that is a 0 shot prompt. So now let's look at this few shot one. So now it has identified it as medium. That means low is extremely low, critical. It is not fitting into any of these buckets. So it is taking the medium. Why medium? It is also giving the explanation. Again, this is not because of the prompt we have given. That is a inherent, addition that LLM is giving us. We have not asked the LLM to explain your reasoning, but still it is giving. So it is explaining, okay, this one and then affects user experience. It does not block. So that's why I'm going for medium. So or high, medium or high, but not critical, but not low also. So that's how it is understanding based on the examples we have given. Now, information extraction. So that means John is 25 years old. Based on this, I want to build this output. So this is called as JSON format. So JSON format is nothing but within the flower brackets, we will have key value like this. Everything will be there with a comma. So now I am saying if I give this statement, create a JSON format with name and age. So extract the name from here, extract the age from here, then give me the output in this way. Again, one more example. Sarah is 30 years old. Extract the name, extract the age, and give me the output like this. So if I give this one, then it's going to do the exactly same thing. So look at this input sentence. This is the output expected. Now next sentence also it will try to give the output by following the first example. So just like this, it has given the output. Now code generation. So add two numbers. When I give this as input, it has to give a plus b as the output. This is the example I'm giving. Now next input, multiply two numbers. I won't give the output. So LLM has to determine. So this is the prompt. So from here, this is the example which I'm sharing, and this is the actual question which I'm asking. So add two numbers means it has to give Python a plus b. Multiply two numbers means what it should give. I'm asking directly through an example. That's why this is called as few shot prompt. It is giving the exactly correct this thing. So when are we going to use few short prompts? Whenever there is some ambiguity inside it, then instead of explaining through words, explaining it through examples is going to help us better. And without examples, if we say classify the severity, then it may, do some creative stuff also, which may not be needed. So whereas with examples, it will clearly understand, okay, these are all the things which are available. So based on this, I need to do. Whereas explaining the same thing without using the example in plain English, it may result in some hallucination and some ambiguity. So where all do we use this few short prompts like in the real world cases? So classifying the support ticket. So this is very frequently used. So now we are using AI. Whenever some customer creates a support ticket to the company, then company earlier one person used to be there. They'll triage the tickets and then identify which team it needs to be assigned to based on the category, all those things. Now AI is taking that over. Like the level one triaging is being done by AI. So it will classify based on the examples given or based on the data from the previous classifications given. And then it will classify the incoming support ticket in the similar way. So this is called as few shot prompting. And for categorizing resumes, so resume has a lot of data, right? So that's why nowadays ATS friendly resume is needed because like most likely humans are not going through our resumes, right? So in and out. So initial filtering is happening through some tools and most likely it's AI. So that means we have to use those keywords that will attract and then, shortlist our profile. So for categorizing resumes and then in healthcare for classifying the symptoms and then, banking, fraud categories, education, grade assignment, software engineering, categorizing the defects and issues. So all these are the real world use cases where few shot prompting is a much better way of doing it. So give some 4 to 5 examples and then give the actual thing that it needs to classify. It will do the best. So simple rule is use zero shot when the task is simple and it is common. That means LLM already knows how to achieve it and if it is straightforward. And use few shot when the task is specialized. It's not a simple, direct thing. We want some specialized output. Like earlier we saw JSON format, right? So in those cases when format is matter and categories. So are custom. So that means if we ask it to categorize, then it may do high, low, medium. That may be the only thing. But we may be having some other categories, critical, instead of using high, we may be using something else. Similar thing only, but some other term. So that kind of custom things, if there are there, then examples is going to work better. And consistency is important. So if you have seen these, all the few short prompts is giving exactly as we have given in the example. So if I give this one, then it is going without example, then it is you can easily understand, right? It will give at least 2 to 3 paragraphs which we have to read. So when we want to limit it to a exact specific format, then also examples are better. Not only this example, I think all the other examples also, it's giving very precisely 1 line 2 line answers, which is not the usual case. Now, what are the different things that we commonly use in the prompts? So these are not these are not type of prompts, and this is not a feature also. These are the commonly used things inside the prompt, so that the output will be much better. So these are more of a best practices, think like that. So explain Docker, not a great prompt. Explain Docker in 5 bullet points. It is much better. So but of course, as we saw, like this also is missing a lot of things, but uh, just adding that bullet points is going to give us a very crisp and easy to read and digest kind of a output. Now, next one, numbered steps. So similar to bullets, then we can give the numbered also. So teach me Git. Again, not a great prompt. Teach me Git in 6 steps from beginner to advanced. So that means we are specifying. So this one is the numbered steps. So now let's see how it will give also. So that we can. So first thing is explain Docker. Obviously, it give lot of paragraphs and those things, which again, there is nothing wrong, as I mentioned, right? So somebody who wants to generically learn about Docker without worrying about format and all, it will work. But when we do this, we are targeting it to be very precise, and somebody, a user looking at it for the first time, they are going to like this one than this one. Most likely, again, as I said, it's subjective. It's not like a logic true or false. It's a very subjective thing, but this one is having a better presentation and format. Now let's go to this one. Teach me Git. Again, similar to how we saw earlier. So it will give all those things and comments. Again, this one is also not complete if you look at it, because there are many more features, right? So it is just picking some example features and then talking about it, all the common things that we need. But when I give this one, it's going to be completely different. Then it's giving, okay, step 1, understand the model. Step 2, understand the history. Navigate the history of file changes. Step 3, what is a master branch and what is it's needed. Step 4, collaborate with GitHub. Step 5, handle the some of the problems. And again, in each step also it is explaining clearly. Step 6, this is the thing. So this is how you navigate or increase your proficiency in the Git. So just with some simple this one, we got a very detailed roadmap. Now think if we add more details, then how good it is going to be. So that's why prompt is very important. So LLM has the capability. Now, how we interact with it is going to determine whether we are getting that complete benefit from LLM, or we are simply, having some casual conversation. It will also help us, but not to the extent of a good prompt. Now, another thing is, now we have seen the bullet points approach, numbered steps. And now another thing is comparing the table. So this is also very popular. Many people use it so that it will give a clear picture of and easy visualization of two things. So compare Python and Java in a table. So it will give the clear distinctions. And again, we have not specified any limit or anything. So it is just going on, but we can give some more data also. But the core thing is we can use table. So what is the typing? Typing means not the typing, it's the type of the variable. So dynamically typed, these are statically typed. So we have checked, right? Dynamically typed means we don't have to specify the int, string, those things. It will automatically determine the type of variable based on the value we are assigning. So we saw in the first class. And then syntax, how the Python syntax is there, how Java is there. Learning curve, very easy for beginners, but learning curve is steeper because it has a very strict syntax and concepts. So like this, it gave the complete table. So somebody who wants to quickly, decide which programming language should I pick, or I already know Java, then can I learn Python? So in those kind of situations, this is going to be very, very helpful. So we can use the table outputs and we can use the JSON outputs also. This is not for our reading purposes. This is more like a processing thing. So let's say I have some information. Extract, yeah, this is the prompt. So I'm giving some information like name is this one, age, city, or whatever, and return JSON only. That means I'm specifying to return in the JSON format. What is JSON format? We already saw, right? So key value, key value, key value. Now it is saying key. What is the key? Name, and its value is John from here. Key and then value, key and then value, city and Hyderabad. So like this, we can use JSON. Again, this is not for reading purpose. This is for the programming standpoint. So if we have some Excel sheet and we want to convert it to JSON, so we can simply give this kind of prompt and return the JSON. So everything will be converted to JSON format. So we don't have to worry about uh, the format. And there is something called as markdown template. So markdown is kind of a format uh, which is somewhat advanced than the plain text, but below the HTML. So to understand this, what is plain text? There will not be any styling. There is no bold, there is no italic, there is no bullet points, nothing will be there. So very plain text, that is plain text. Now, what is HTML? Using HTML, we can update the background color, we can update the font size, we can update the font of a text, we can include the background image, all those things. That is the most advanced HTML, using which we can format the text. Now, what is Markdown? It is between these two layers. That means some formatting is allowed, but not everything. So that is called the Markdown template. So this one mostly needed for the UI engineers, not much for us, but just as an example, I have picked it up. So there is a meeting transcript. So project status, meeting date, and then attendees are this one. So nowadays we are getting this kind of transcript from the Zoom, right? Zoom or Teams. When we attend the meeting, we are getting the transcript. So from the transcript, I want to summarize this meeting, and output format I am giving in like this. So let's go to, so this is the meeting transcript and the prompt is summarize this meeting, and output format should be in this one. So here, what is the markdown? Markdown is nothing but this one is coming as bold, this one is coming as bold, and then these are coming as bulleted points. So this is the markdown. So by default, if we don't give this, then it won't, keep this markdown. So it may give directly in all everything in a single bulleted points. So that's why we use the markdown. So again, it's not a really big deal. So if you look into WhatsApp, if you give double star uh, for a word, then it will convert to bold, right? Single star before and after a word, it will convert to italic. So this is the markdown format. So it is somewhat more formatted than plain text, but not as formatted as HTML. So we can do bold, we can do italic, we can do strike through, like basic things we can do, but not more than that. So that is called as markdown. Again, it's not related to prompt, so don't get confused. Markdown is a separate UI format. So just if we want to print in that format, so just give this kind of breakdown so that it will do that markdown. It will take care of that markdown. We don't have to learn, okay, how to apply markdown, all those things. Now fixed schema, that means so let's say if I give generate startup ideas, it's going to give a lot of things, right? So instead of that, for each idea, I'm specifically saying provide the problem, provide the solution, who will be the target users, and what is the revenue model, so that it will give whatever. Let's say if I give 5 startup ideas, then it's going to generate 5 startup ideas, and every startup idea will be in this specific schema or format, like the breakdown. And length constraints, this we have already seen. So if we want to limit it, or like put some constraint, then we can use 100 words or 5 lines, or just say yes or no. Like if we can ask a big question and just say yes or no, it will return only yes or no without giving all the explanations. So like that, we can give length constraints. And persona constraints, we can include like this: explain something to a 12-year-old, or to a software engineer, or to a experienced professor, or like again, the output is going to be completely different. So you have seen so many, right? So like this, we can do many more also. So the idea here is not to memorize these things, but to understand the intent. So what I mean, so never ask, what do I want? Always ask, how do I want the answer? So in this way, if you just keep this in mind, all these things are obvious. Why we have discussed it, this is so that like you will get those ideas, right? So you don't have to exactly use the persona constraint, but at least okay, if I ask directly, it will give some generic answer. So I need to put some other additional data. So at least this much you have to know, because I'm not a person, who is on the favor of memorizing things. So it's more about understanding how LLM works and why are we giving these details. Once you understand it, then you can write your own prompts very easily. So again, there are some patterns also. Like we can give like this. Again, this is also not an actual prompt type. This is also again example only. So we can give like this: purpose is to teach concepts, and example, act as a computer science of professor, explain APIs to a beginner, and use a simple language, all these things, right? So this is more of we are coming closer to the real world prompts. So this is how real world prompt looks. You will never see an actual prompt in single line or 2 lines or everything in one para. You will never see that. So this is how you will see prompts. So act as a computer science professor. We are clearly telling, okay, what is your level? You need to provide the output. And explain APIs to a beginner. Again, we are giving specificity. And we are giving what are the constraints. Use simple language, this one. And applications. What is the, uh, so this is the like where all we can use it. Now critic pattern. So this is for code reviews or reviewing a resume. That means we are asking review and improve, so that it will put on that critic mode. That means it will try to find the issues, it will try to find the shortcomings, which otherwise AI will not do. You might be already aware, right? So it's always try to please the users. So now we are specifically saying review this Python code, so that it will try to act as a critic and come up with the bugs. And generator pattern, again, this is not a big pattern. So these are few examples where in which use cases we need to use. So here this is for generating ideas. So we can say generate 10 startup ideas, and for each idea provide these things, and where all we can use. So content creation, product ideas, everywhere. So transformer pattern, that means changing one format to another. There is a paragraph and I want to change to bullet points. So this is the input. Convert this paragraph into concise bullet points. Similarly, I have a meeting notes, which is like multiple paragraphs. Now I am asking convert this meeting notes into action items. So it will create those actions also based on the transcript. And then there is a blog, and we want to make a LinkedIn post out of it. So this is the blog we will give that input text, and then convert this paragraph into a professional LinkedIn post. It will take care of the rest. We don't need to worry. And we can change some JSON. So this is the JSON format I mentioned, right? Key value, key value. Now I want to change it into a markdown table. Then I have an email. I want to convert into a list of tasks that I need to perform from that email. Let's say your manager or somebody sent it. Then I can give that email as input, and prompt I will give as convert this email into a structured task list. So it will give the list of tasks based on the email. Especially useful, like we keep getting receiving many emails, very lengthy emails. So instead of reading that, do this, it will do the job very perfectly. And extraction. So to extract some pieces, like let's say there is a resume, it will have a lot of details. I'm not interested in most of the things. So I will just want these details. Example. So input, I'll give all these things, like the entire resume is the input, and extract all these things so that I can give this on 10 resumes and I'll get the 10 data. I can simply copy paste into Excel instead of manually opening resume, typing or copying one by one field. So much productive. And then let's say there is an invoice. So there is an input. So this is the data in the invoice, and I will give the prompt as extract invoice number, customer name, date, amount due. So that invoice again, it will have 2 to 3 pages of PDF. Instead of checking manually, I'll just give that invoice data to this and give this prompt. I'll get the required data, whatever I need. Okay, what is the amount due, payment due? Okay, then I'll plan accordingly. Again, meeting notes. I want to extract the dates and tasks. So it will do this dates as well. So I'll give the meeting transcript, and then it can give by using this prompt, it can give the required output. So again, multiple examples, support ticket to problem details. I got a ticket. I want to create a defect or problem for it. And then some event information extraction. So there is one summit happening. Now I'll give that data. So in this case, I'm using 2 or 3 lines only, but actual thing, it may be a big web page or a big email that we get, right? So instead of reading everything, you just copy it and give the prompt as like this. So it will give the most info, like eh, useful details. So ultimately, the universal prompt template must have this. Act as a whatever, professor or instructor, or act as a code reviewer, whatever that we have to give. Task, what the LLM needs to do. Context, giving some background information. So who will be the audience, and what is the level. And then constraints, length, style, and rules. What is the length? Means the length of the output, and what should be the style, beginner style or interactive style or funny way. So all those things also we can give. And what should be the output format, so bullets or table format, whatever. So this is all about prompt engineering. So this has a lot of examples. So I am going to share this doc with you as well, like other notes which I have shared. So you can go through it, play around with it. So no setup needed. You just open ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever AI you are using. Just play around with it. You will really, get a lot of insights on how simple word change also is going to make a lot of difference in the output. Okay, I think we are little over, but I'm happy to take questions if you have any. Okay, I assume we are good for today. So yeah, then thanks everyone. Bye.